How AI dolls will destroy the world. Do you really think it will be like this? Science fiction writers depict various apocalypse scenarios caused by sex dolls, and all of them are depressing. Writers and directors race to recycle this trendy topic, competing over whose imagined world is more horrifying and grim. The terrifying future they describe is that as soon as sex robots become accessible to everyone and can fully satisfy all male desires, first in sex, then in emotions, the apocalypse will arrive. Visionaries, sexologists, and feminists are convinced that once sex dolls become as affordable as other household appliances, men will lose all interest in the outside world.
Oh, okay.
Civilization will collapse because men will lock themselves in their homes with their dolls and never go offline again. Technological progress is truly advancing by leaps and bounds. What seemed impossible yesterday is now available to ordinary people. The media eagerly latch onto the topic of new robot developments, especially those that aren't just designed for washing windows or turning on lights. Sex robots that replace intimate partners are a hotter, juicier, and more attention-grabbing topic. The most terrifying aspect of these dolls is that they don't just service men technically, but can also hold a conversation, tidy up a bachelor's den, and solve basic household problems. Paranoids and feminists are drafting petitions one after another, demanding bans on manufacturing such substitutes for women. Writers create apocalyptic scenarios, each one scarier than the last. But let's break it all down, and I'll tell you why all these writers and directors are absolutely wrong. In fact, we are headed for a bright future. But first, let's discuss what exactly triggers widespread fear and provokes sci-fi authors to write doomsday stories. Robot exhibitions held in various countries allow individuals with unstable nerves to fuel their anxiety. For example, the British introduced a doll with an updated firmware. Its creators claim that the AI girlfriend is no longer a submissive slave to its owner. The new robot can argue and refuse a man. Moreover, the doll is allegedly capable of feeling depression and boredom. If these unpleasant emotions are caused by the owner, he will be denied sexual contact. Did you still think robots don't get headaches and are always willing? Well, think again. The creators were deeply concerned about the potential increase in real-life violence against women. Even the developers themselves are beginning to question the consequences of their progressive projects. The integration of sex dolls into real life and their advanced social adaptation frighten people. After all, like it or not, the female analog is proving to be quite functional. The Chinese have gone even further. They aim to solve a social problem using robots. The country faces a catastrophic shortage of women, so commercial goals take a back seat. Developers have created a gadget that efficiently handles most basic household chores. But the primary goal, of course, is to fill the emptiness of a bachelor's apartment with the warmth of a female presence, let it be a little artificial. A little? Well, we'll talk about that later. We still have to dispel the myths about men's needs. By the way, the toy costs several $1,000s, so the Chinese joke that a real wife is far more expensive. Most developed countries have joined the race to create competitive dolls. They don't have significant gender imbalances, unlike China. Adult entertainment centers featuring sex dolls are opening, and their popularity is understandable in the early stages. Curiosity, as we know, is not a sin. People are drawn to novelty, and not just men. The real question is whether this business will remain viable in the long run. All these news, bombarding unprepared minds from various platforms, generate numerous curious theories. The first question that worries everyone: will obedient, attractive, and ever-ready dolls replace real women? After all, simple creatures like men eagerly latch on to whatever is available. Bold advances in technology could lead to a lifestyle where people are no longer interested in or needed by one another. The day when sex dolls become as common as vacuum cleaners and smartphones is approaching. What will happen in a world where the institution of the family is losing significance by the day? People have lost the habit of resisting. It's easier to press a button and get results than to search, strive, and put in effort. In everyday life, such functionality is hard to call dangerous or useless. No housewife would willingly give up her dishwasher in favor of scrubbing dishes by hand. So why should men be any different? Why go through the courtship, emotional torment, and financial expense? A robot can be laid in bed in seconds. Why bother with anything else? journalists were the first to sound the alarm and rush to therapists for explanations. Experts immediately delivered some blunt truths. The problems described could indeed arise, but only for infantiles or those who already view women as mere servants. Let's be honest, such men have always struggled with women, even without sex dolls. But let's hear what the experts say. Those who fear that robots will replace real people should ask themselves, what does a woman mean to you? If she is your equal partner, someone with whom you share deep emotions, someone who gives life meaning, how could that ever be replaced? Yes, experts find China's gender shortage concerning. But in places like Lithuania or El Salvador, where women outnumber men, no one seems to be worried about finding alternatives. Are women more patient? No, there are just different kinds of women and men. If a person sees their partner only as a household helper, that's sad in any case. If a man is only looking for a maid, cleaner, and sex provider, and emotional closeness doesn't matter to him, why waste time on relationships at all? Psychotherapists suggest that for this type of man, AI dolls might actually be a perfect solution. More than that, they might even help him feel more normal. Following artificial women, artificial children will inevitably be next, or so the media keeps screaming. Apparently, that's the only logical conclusion. After all, men are supposedly total idiots who will want to complete their AI relationships by having an AI child. Let's all take a moment to remember the Tamagotchi craze. No matter how fun it was to feed and care for a digital pet, it never replaced real dogs, cats, or even parrots. People still adopt real pets, while Tamagotchis collect dust in old storage boxes. That said, the idea of a child you can turn off might seem ideal to many, not just men.
Perfect. Everything.
Another danger psychiatrists see in sex dolls is depression stemming from a loss of real emotions. However, psychologists and therapists are already dealing with plenty of patients today. In fact, the number of people seeking help for their emotions is increasing. Maybe we should view this as a promising development. Mentally stable people can regulate themselves, whether they have sex dolls or not. Now that all the horrors of a robot-filled future have been described, let's start busting the biggest myths. Let's get to clear answers. First, ask yourself the most important question. Do you truly believe that everything men do is solely for the purpose of obtaining sex? I'm not a supporter of conspiracy theories, but it really looks like men are deliberately being instilled with the idea that all we need from the world is to get sex. Do you really consider yourself a spineless machine for getting sex? Is your spontaneous desire to buy a crossbow and shoot apples somehow linked to reproduction? Is the fact that you spent a third of your life playing video games connected to sex? You know full well that gaming won't improve your chances of reproduction. In fact, it will probably decrease them. And yet you still do it because it's your passion, your interest. It brings you joy. Now think about how driven you feel when you have a strong idea. It consumes you entirely. You drown in it. You see and hear nothing. At that moment, nothing else in the world matters except making that idea into reality. Do you truly believe your mind is so empty that a sex doll could fill it to the brim, take over your heart, and make you abandon your dreams?
No, God!
If a man sees women as tools, AI is not to blame. If he is obsessed with gadgets or games, sex robots won't make it worse. But not all men are like that. Some become gaming addicts, while others turn off their consoles and go to bed because they have work in the morning. Some pay for sex, while others seek love, marry, and can't imagine life without emotional connection. So, should we really be so afraid of sex robots? So, what will dolls actually lead to in reality? First of all, household chores will no longer be a burden. Don't forget that AI dolls are designed not only to satisfy the primitive male sexual instinct. Yes, life with them will become easier in many ways. What's so bad about that? If a person comes home from work in the evening to a clean apartment and exchanges a few words with an AI assistant, does that sound like a catastrophe? A doll as a personal secretary that helps develop your consciousness and ideas is a great thing. She will support you in any endeavor or stop you if the idea is truly weak. Secondly, men will stop spending all their free time chasing sex. Yes, let's admit it. Sex is a periodic necessity for a healthy, sexually mature man. Right now, to get it, a single person has to spend a lot of time running around clubs, looking for one-night stands, and expending effort not on finding love, no, but on satisfying a natural instinct. A huge amount of a single man's resources is converted to void. Knowing that he can relax at home with an attractive doll will reduce overall anxiety. Will there be sex? Great. Won't there be? Oh well, I have a substitute. relationships based solely on sex are not the greatest loss for humanity. A man will be able to focus on what truly interests him, shifting attention away from ideas that are easiest to convert into sex. The pointless wandering of a sexually satisfied man through clubs will cease to have value. He will go there not to seek a partner, but simply to relax with friends and dance. As a result, the number of sexually transmitted diseases will decrease. Assuming, of course, that hygiene is maintained and no one shares their AI girlfriend with others. Thirdly, the development and implementation of AI dolls will sooner or later lead to the death of consumer culture and social media. A vast amount of content and products are aimed at a single goal, increasing your chances of getting sex or making you feel incapable of getting it. Porn content will become obsolete immediately. After buying my first doll, I completely forgot about sites with such material. Why pay for movies when you can fulfill all your sexual fantasies in reality? The entire social media industry, Instagram, Facebook, is focused on advertising sex. Women present themselves from flattering angles to evoke desire. Men eagerly consume this content and try to increase their chances of meeting someone. But behind all this, there are no real people, no true stories, just a pretty picture with no connection to life. It's time to return to psychotherapy, and remember that doctors have long described the dangers of social media for mental health. This is worth recalling whenever someone wants to predict an apocalypse. Not to mention the imminent demise of platforms like OnlyFans. Today, such sites are one of the biggest sources of online traffic. The content subscription service isn't free. Huge sums of money circulate there. Think about it. We are wasting the resources of the global internet on nothing. These are luxury cars, expensive homes, branded clothing, and other symbols of consumer culture. Accusations of consumerism have real grounds. It's strange that men are blamed for all the world's sins when they're ready to give up one of them. The spread of sex dolls will also lead to men no longer identifying themselves through the number and quality of their sexual partners. Many successful people are already reaching this realization, and soon this option will be available to everyone. Sexual objectification of women is one of the main accusations feminists make. So why not let men shift their focus to other valuable qualities of women? How lazy and childish must a man be to reject reality in favor of a cold, even if obedient doll for his entire life? If the future of sex is in danger, it's only mechanical sex, devoid of emotions and empathy. Is that something worth mourning? Robot will never replace a human where it truly matters. Love, emotions, and deep connections remain beyond the reach of even the most advanced AI gadgets. Sex dolls will bring love back into the world. If sex becomes easily accessible, there will be no need for short-term affairs purely for its sake. So, even if AI dolls do destroy the world, it will only be the old world, where we wasted our lives competing. This race for dominance brings most people nothing but lost time and stress. Is it really worth holding on to?